In this case, we have not one, not two, but three separate panels, judicial panels, that have said his arrest, his rendition, and his continued incarceration are absolutely illegal. Not because it's not a good idea, not because we don't like it, not because he's the leader of our people or the leader of the people that we favor. The Nigerian courts applying Nigerian law made the determination not once, twice. And I'm here to tell you, be kind, Nigerian courts are not willingness to go against the Nigerian government. In fact, it almost never happens. Yet you have court judgments so obvious that said he must be released immediately. He must be returned. Along with that, we have a judgment, a scathing review from the United Nations. The United Nations has looked at this case and determined that there are rampant, gross human rights violations, and they demand the immediate release. Now, here's Fernando Kanu parts from Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, indeed, once again, the most celebrated freedom fighter in the world, perhaps in the history of the world, the most recent history of the world, never was the beneficiary of a single court judgment that demanded his release. Never. Didn't happen. Didn't happen in South Africa, didn't happen in Lesotho, didn't happen in Soweto, didn't happen in Rwanda, didn't happen in the United States. And more importantly, there was never an international tribunal. The UN never addressed Nelson Mandela. Never once did the UN issue a call for his freedom. And I'm here to tell you once again, that is very, very significant. That is very significant. We're talking about a man that is more of what we admire in Nelson Mandela than even Nelson Mandela.
Okay, according to what has been trending on social media, we've seen finally that the Nigeria court and Judge Omotosho has ordered for a trial, the continuous trial in the DSS custody that will be taking place on the this week. But a lot of people are so upset. They said it's as if the federal government knows that Nnamdi Kanu and the British, they know that they can never defeat Nnamdi Kanu, that Nnamdi Kanu has always and will continue to defeat them here in Nigeria court, and as if Nigeria court are wanting to secretly move this trial so that the Biafrans will not get the most stringent information they need to nail Nnamdi Kanu. And with this now, it's as if they want to secretly try Nnamdi Kanu in DSS custody and probably move him to Kenya to do whatever they want to do. Because the British, we know their hands are not clean as regards Nnamdi Kanu. They've not come out to say anything as regards arrest. What's your take as regards?
I think these things are very clearly, that the reason why the Fulani under Buhari went for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is to make sure that these guys now does not raise their voice in any form. But unfortunately for them, fate have a way, of saving their life. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life was saved. Samuel Ekpa's life was also saved, and they were not able to kill him in Kenya, So miraculously, Nnamdi Kanu was renditioned back to Nigeria, and it was exposed to the world, and the people who exposed this information were people who were with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya. Because they needed to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu somewhere in Kenya for 8 days to watch how people are going to react, whether anybody know what happened and all that. But the news went everywhere, and that was why they brought him back to Nigeria 8 days after, and it did not stop there. Buhari and his cohort, the Fulani, felt otherwise, that the only thing they needed to do is to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in DSS custody so that they continue to carry out whatever agenda they want to carry out, and since they could not succeed, so they kept Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for years, 5 years plus now, without trial. What a wickedness, what a hatred. For years, the world are watching, because one day, what will be used against Nigeria by the superpowers, by the world leaders, will surprise as many as. All these things that are happening now, it's been documented. So you can see now that it is becoming a public something, how the trial is going. The same Fulani now instructed Bola Ahmed Tinubu what to do. Then they decided to move him because there is pressure. Already, the Kenyan government has budgeted over 20 billion US dollars for that compensation because they contravene the Commonwealth law, the international law. And Martin Namdekanu is going to seek for compensation. William Ruto has made several statements, that why is it that all of a sudden the Kenyan women are marrying our wives now? Nigerian Igbo people are marrying our Kenyan women now more. He made that statement. So what I'm saying at this point is that it becomes very clearly that they want to go from the back door and return Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, and that is one of the reasons why, because they have seen that Mazin Nnamdi Kanu have consistently, even the last court outing, you can see what transpired there. He won. So that kind of case being on the public space, create some level of sensitivity on the side of Omotosho to be able to give judgment because people are watching. Not only you be judged now. There are other people too. So Nigerians are watching. But for them now to have decided, for the Fulani to have instructed Bola Ahmed Tinubu to move him for secret trial or whatever, there is allegations and there are reports everywhere that Martin Nnamdi Kanu is already in Kenya or is going to be returned in Kenya. The reason why he is not in court today, the reason why he is being sent to Kenya and they are going to return him back in a few days, and they are trying to do a kind of negotiation, get the Commonwealth nations involved on the Martin Nnamdi Kanu. But they have gone beyond that. The lawyers are not losing sleep. The IPOB command is expanding all over the world, like you can see. The strength of our IPOB is growing on a daily basis. The Biafran government in exile is doing exploits. You can see the recent Washington embassy. You can see a lot of things. Yes, we agree. The freest nation in the world is trying the first European agitator to be tried in court, Simon Ekpa. The first African to be tried in European court for agitation of sovereignty. Breaking of record. So, that is a very clear thing now. But the Igbo leaders, the likes of Ojuzo Kalu, Benjamin, all these guys that are there now, we know the reason why they are there. They are not there on their own. They are just there cosmetically to look as if the Igbo system in the Nigeria has Igbo system in their blood or in their government. Igbo has been incorporated into the system. God, this guy does not represent the Igbo people. They represent the Fulani political conquest agenda, including the governors. And that is why I can tell you that Mazin Nnamdi Kanu has become law and order anytime, any day. And whatever Mazin Nnamdi Kanu says is final. Whether they're going to take him to Kenya, whether they're going to from Kenya take him to UK, that is their business. But I can tell you that in trying Mazin Nnamdi Kanu in the first place is criminality. There's no competent court of jurisdiction that can try Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. What we are seeing, the alliance of the Yorubas and the Northerners to handle this matter like this, after they went and brought James Omotosho, who is a wicked ally. We know the controversial judgment they passed in Rivers State against the governor of Rivers State, now on suspension, Simi Fubara. The same thing they want to do on Mazin Nnamdi Kanu's case. But I can tell you, the people are watching. The Igbo people are watching. Either they want to use it as a negotiation, whatever, you want to keep Nnamdi Kanu there and go to whatever you are having with the North. That is your business. But we know, actually, that to an extent, some prominent international community organizations has told Nigeria their stand. And they are watching to see what is going to happen at the end of the day. The Indian government has sent delegates already. The Canadian government has sent delegates already. The Israeli government has sent delegates already. The American government has sent delegates already. And you think those delegates, it does not matter anything to Nigeria. It does not make any sense. It's just ordinary delegates. You don't know that, they are counting it for Nigeria. That one day, they will open book for Nigeria. And will tell you, so and so time, these are the steps we have taken, but you ignored us. But unfortunately, a certain president trying to be part of the Fulani agenda to destroy Biafra and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not stand.
Okay, but a lot of people have said, the DSS, or sorry, the Nigeria court or Joshua moving this, continuous trial to the DSS custody. Do you not think, because they say they want to what? They want to, probe the container that Nnamdi Kanu brought in, from Britain, back then 2017. Do you not think that some people are saying this government might even possibly, or the Fulanis might plant bomb in that container and put false allegation on Nnamdi Kanu? Do you see this?
Of course, Nigeria can never be trusted for anything. Nigeria cannot even trust their own leadership. Nigeria cannot even trust Nigeria. So where do we stand from? So you can see that everything is heading towards balkanization of Nigeria, a disintegration of Nigeria. Every Nigerian is working towards the disintegration, including the presidency, including the judiciary, including the INEC. All of them are working towards disintegration of Nigeria. So what makes Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case different? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case cannot be different from the reality on ground. The military is working against Nigeria disintegration. The police is working to make sure Nigeria disintegrate. The Fulanis are working. The politicians are doing the same thing. So what makes Nnamdi Kanu's case different? So that is the suspicious that's been built around what we are talking about today. But what is transmitter in the first place? Can anybody just tell me what transmitter is? Transmitter, is it a radio? Is it a phone? Because a phone can also be a transmitter. I don't know what they mean by transmitter, that to an extent that they say because of transmitter they want to move the matter to DSS. No, it sounds ridiculous, honestly, on that note, if actually it is because of transmitter. Anybody can open. How many minutes does it open to the smartest transmitter? And transmitter for me is not a weapon. It's not an atomic energy, an atomic bomb. It's not a nuclear arsenal. Transmitter is a device like phone that can be used by anybody. So why are they now saying otherwise over the issue of transmitter? My brother, I don't think it is the transmitter that is the issue. It is the Fulani agenda that has refused to work. They are trying to see how it is going to work. But unfortunately, that guy you are seeing here was once a scrap, but now he has become a machine. Nobody.
Okay, but what's your take as regards the Southeast? Because a lot of people have alluded to the fact that the Southeast politicians are the one encouraging the Fulanis and the Tinubu government not to release Nnamdi Kanu. Yes. Why some are saying it's the Fulani that not the Southeast government?
I see. They have already planted the Southeast governors there. So the Southeast governors are already playing with the gallery. So they cannot say no. If they say no, there will not be money for them. There will not be political position for them. They will not go to the Senate like Ojus Okalo. They will not become deputy speaker and be jumping up, which is a disgrace. They cannot be supervising their oil in their father's land. They turn to security where other people are taking it. That is what we are talking about. So they will not be talking about every month everybody should go to Abuja and hold his plate and wait until they give you a cup of rice and you come back. The Igbo man is going there. The Yoruba man is going there. The Middle Belt man is going there. So, because they heard it, that was what Gowon wanted. Now everybody is turning to Abuja. If you don't go to Abuja, how will you survive? That is the strategy I'm talking about. That is called political conquest. And that is why you can see, among all the killings up and down, the Eastern governors are not saying anything. All they are saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must surrender to death, conquest. But 200 million resistance is coming. Yes. Watch. The world will celebrate Biafra soon. Not celebrate, I want to celebrate the president of Namibia for that signal about Biafra. And I can tell you, it is going to come. And the center will not hold. The question I want to ask, is there anything Nigeria can offer Biafrans that Biafrans cannot offer themselves? Mention one thing that Nigeria will offer Biafrans and Biafrans cannot be able to offer themselves. So the whole thing is centered on the Biafran land. Nigeria is working today because of Biafra. Nigeria is working today because of crude oil. Nigeria is in unity, the so-called unity, because of crude oil. But unfortunately, they have infiltrated the eastern region, created South, created Ogoni, created the Ndoki, created this one, and they are destroying our land. That is absolutely unacceptable. There's nothing Nigeria can offer Biafrans that Biafrans cannot achieve. I've not seen one. Under the electricity, they don't have it. Education, zero. The military has been balkanized. The police are running away. No, the youths are not joining the military intelligence again. So what is the essence of becoming part of this entity that killed 200 people in Benue? And the presidency is still sitting, throwing our border up and down without even visiting the venue of that massacre. The Igbo